be showing you my work for the hour of code for the third hour of code. So basically, I'm going to show you my code first. So I created two structs, one with the metrics, which basically holds the cardinal points and the numbers for each metric. So either latitude or longitude. And then I created a location struct, which basically holds both of those metrics already. And then I have, of course, my array with that is going to be holding all the locations given in the file. And then I'm gonna show you from top button. So this is my main, which is where I'm reading the file. Basically, I found this way of getting of opening a file, and by the way, you have to specify this mode to tell the program that it's only going to be reading that file. Also, I found that this is how you can scan each line on the file. And here's how I'm processing the line. I'm going to show you this one later. And then basically I just once I process all the lines and once I've assigned the corresponding values to the location metrics, I basically sort the array and then I print the output. And of course, then I have to close the files and release memory and stuff. Anyways, I'm gonna show you now the process line. So as you can see right here, I have a kind of weird parameter. So basically it's the metric. So what I did here is basically I want to know if it's either 0 or 1. It's going to tell me something about what metric I am processing. So if you'll notice right here, I have in one line latitude and then one line longitude. So what I did here is if this one is a 0, then I know I am reading a latitude information, and if it's 1, I'm reading longitude information. And by doing that, then I can assign the values to the correct metric for the location. And then I needed to check, I have also this part right here, section. So what I'm doing here is I am separating the line by spaces. So it's basically going to be taking this part right here, this part, and then this part right here. So the first part doesn't really tell me anything about the information, but what I want to show you here is every time we separate a new part of the C buffer char array, we get to add 1 to the section. So once it is 2, I know I'm gonna be reading the coordinate format for whatever metric I'm on. And then when I get a 3, I'm gonna be reading the number format. And then what I do here is, if I'm reading a coordinate format, I copy it to the corresponding C cardinal point, which belongs to either latitude or longitude, depending on what I'm on. And I am copying actually this part right here, because what this does is, I'm going to show you this function right here. What it does is it receives the coordinate, and it checks the char at the very end of the char array, and then it's meant to add the next part. So if I get that the last character is an E, I want to add AST as to form ist. So basically what I need to do there, I have allocated memory to that covers both the received parameter and then the suffix that I'm going to be adding, and then of course +1 just to make sure that there's no problem with the memory. And then once I get that, I can concatenate the coordinate and the suffix and then have it all in one piece. Then I copy that piece to the corresponding value, or if we're talking about the number, what I do here is I read whatever number I have right here, and then I use this to kind of parse it into a double. So I just basically allocate it like that. Same for the longitude process. So once I do that, I of course sort the array, and what that does is I just bubble sort for the sake of simplicity. What this does is it checks if the numbers in both latitudes between whatever two elements I'm comparing are the same, and if they are, it checks for the for so sorry about that. I just realized I had a typo. Basically, it checks, what I was saying is it checks for the latitude, and if it finds that the latitude is the same, it checks for the longitude. Um, or if it just finds that the latitude of one is bigger than the other, it does the corresponding swapping between those two. And then of course I have the print in file part, which basically what it does is it creates two different files, one output coordinates and one output numbers, um, because we needed to have these two different files. And then it iterates over the already sorted array, and it prints out whatever latitude or longitude belongs to that particular element that we are iterating through at the moment. And it just outputs the corresponding cardinal point or number, and then of course it just closes the file. So that's basically how my program works. I'm going to show you now a quick demo. So here's my file. I already have it compiled, but just for the sake of it, let me show you that it compiles correctly. And then I have my H3 part, which it just executed, and you will see that it created two output files. So one for the coordinates, which is right here. So as you can see, it's sorted by latitude rather than longitude. But so as you can see, we have all the south coordinates first, and then all the north coordinates. And then of course, if there's any match at some point, it needs to check for east and west coordinates as to compare, just to make sure that it is sorted by latitude first and then longitude second. And then of course, this one is going to be more visually obvious. As you can see, I have my latitude here, so it's sorted by the so as you can see, we have the negative numbers first, and then it just keeps increasing over and over until it reaches the biggest positive number that it has. But then of course, the longitude is in second place at the sorting algorithm, but that's just how it is. By the way, I forgot to mention that what I actually use to compare are the numbers, because it didn't really make sense to sort by the strings, so I just used the number instead. So yeah, that's basically how it works.